And as we begin, let us just take a moment to entrust our reflections to the Lord, that He might help us to integrate what we have to say in a way that's going to be of benefit in our own lives. Meister Eckhart. We could begin by asking something about the title, the name Meister. In German Meister, in English Master, in Latin Magister. Why is he known as Meister Eckhart? No one else in the history of Christian spirituality and mysticism was known in that way. We've had others who are known as greats, such as St. Albert the Great, whom Meister Eckhart would have known, Gregory the Great. We can ask, well, why are they known as great, when indeed others like Augustine and Aquinas, who were probably the two greatest theologians in the Christian tradition, never acquired that title, the Great. And so why is Eckhart known as the Master, the Meister? It says something at least about how people respected him, appreciated him, understood him, that he has gone down in history in some ways as the master of the spiritual life. Clearly, he was more than a master in the spiritual life. He was also a professor and in many ways an administrator, much of his life being occupied with those ministries as well. But yet, when it comes to understanding his role in the history of mysticism, he has that kind of preeminent place. Another thing that we should say is that he is a Dominican. That is, early in his life, in his mid-teens, he already joined the Order of Preachers, which is the order in which Thomas Aquinas had been a member, and Albert the Great, and of course founded by St. Dominic, and the ethos or the spirituality associated with those friars, those preaching friars, would have a tremendous influence on Eckhart as well. There's a lot we do not know about the life of Eckhart, which is strange, given how his reputation as a master has come down to us. But he was born in 1260, the latter part of the 13th century, although many of the dates that I give you cannot be precise. They might vary by a year or two depending upon whom you might read, just because many dates are not easy to pin down with respect to his life. He was born in Germany, and again, that context, German mysticism, helps us or will help us to appreciate him, because in Germany at the time, late 13th and in the 14th century, there was a tremendous proliferation and flowering of mysticism and mystical thought, not only in religious communities, but also among the laity. There would have been at the time of Eckhart, in the 14th century, a movement known as the Friends of God. Not a formal movement, but there were those many connected with each other who might even sign a letter, a friend of God. And Eckhart was in some ways a kind of spiritual father for that Friends of God movement.